Well, good people, we have another video for you on these trucks, transmissions, and plastic parts that they are putting on our new vehicles these days. Boy, oh boy, do we ever have a transmission for you. This one is the 2016 Honda HR-V CVT continuous velocity transmission. And this is what happens to these transmissions when they fall apart, when the chain breaks, and when the lubrication comes to an end. And of course, it can't lubricate because there's no dipstick to check your oil level in the transmissions anymore. So you can't tell, is it full? Is it empty? Is it half empty? And this is the result of it. So let's have a look at this transmission as it falls apart.
Oh my God. And that's a Honda. I thought Nissan held the cake for a CVT.
Just look at all the junk falling apart in here.
Well, that's the chain itself just disintegrated with all those little pieces in there. That's part of the chain in there. But Honda building that kind of stuff, that's unreal. The biggest point is yeah, you can't check the oil in these things. And you have to go to a dealer to have the oil changed. For a CVT transmission like that, it's around 850 bucks Canadian. And they want you to do it like every 20 or 30,000 kilometers. They want you to change the transmission fluid at that price.
But this is insanity. Are you going to go and buy a new vehicle only to have your transmission fall apart like this?
That's right.
I mean, come on. It's always the chain, it seems, too. In all these ones, it's the chain that goes first. It always does, you know. It's absolutely crazy how everything is junk now. And it's because the way they're designing it, the way they're engineering it. It just boggles my mind. You know, if you had a place where you could actually check to see what your oil levels are, then you wouldn't have a problem like this. But it drops an eighth of a quart. This is what happens. The chain grenade.
Yeah, and you'd be lucky that it puts a check engine light on while you're doing that. I was just thinking about some of the other transmissions out there, not a CVT, but even the other transmissions that are out there, like the 8, 9 speeds and stuff on that. There's no oil pan at the bottom on the transmission. It's not there. There is no dipstick to check it. A dipstick tells you a lot of stuff. It'll tell you if there's any foreign material in the transmission fluid. You can smell it if it's got hot and burnt and needs to be changed. If you have an oil pan and it's got a drain, most transmissions don't have a drain plug. But when you pull the pan down, it'll have a magnet in it and it'll show you if there's any metal particles that'll be stuck to the magnet. These things need to be put back on these vehicles. Of course, they don't want you to service it. They don't want you to know. And these transmissions, especially a CVT, you can't rebuild them. Nobody rebuilds these things.
But that's another problem when you have these drain plugs that are made out of plastic. Because now when you go to unscrew it to try to drain anything, whether it's the transmission or whether it's the oil pan, sometimes the threads will break right inside. And now you can't get that out of there until you take the whole pan down. Then you have to go from the backside, drill it out, and then tap it. As a matter of fact, they make tap kits now just for this instance. When you have no dipstick, you have no level indicators, nothing. And then they say that these are going to last a lifetime of the vehicle. Well, it does until the warranty runs out, and then you're dead in the water on the road somewhere. And another thing, even the dipsticks that they do make in some of these vehicles are plastic. And you have these videos of these guys showing them pulling the dipstick out. Whoops, wait a minute. There's the handle. The dipstick itself has plastic in it. So now the plastic goes into the oil filter, plugs everything up, and now your engine has starved of oil.
I can't imagine they'd put something in that has a heat cycle. The other thing with these oil pans that are made out of plastic, you strip the threads on the thing. You imagine going into a quick lube. They strip the threads on it Some of them, they'll pack a bunch of goop in it and pack it up. They're not going to tell you that they stripped the thread because on a plastic oil pan, they're going to have to pay to replace that oil pan. A lot of these engines, you either have to jack the engine up or you have to take the exhaust off to get to be able to pull the oil pan down, or you have to take the engine out to change it. I mean, it's just ridiculous on these cars that they could do that. I can't imagine, like I said, going to a quickie lube, have them strip the threads on it, and they send you down the road, and then the drain plug pulls out of there, and your engine's gone, right?
So now we get to this one, good people. And now we're looking at Ram's plastic upper control arms. So now they're making these out of plastic with an aluminum interior in them. And here's the other problem with that is that the little ball joint watches this fella here, hits it with a hammer, and the ball joint on the end of it goes flying across the room because there is no aluminum in there.
Ball joint removed. So now we can see exactly what's going on with this thing.
Absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. Let's say you've got your Dodge Ram and you're actually, it's a work truck, and you've got 7 or 8,000 pounds on a trailer. You hit a pothole in the road, and that entire weight of that vehicle hits that. The lower control arm is going to take the weight of the vehicle. But when you hit a shocking bump like that, it's the upper one that's going to control it in there. That tire is going to fly right off the vehicle. Top's going to snap and the tire's just going to lay down like that. Nothing you can do about it. Plastic, unbelievable. And it's a truck. It's a heavy work truck. Where is Ralph Nader when you need him?
But here's the thing, where he hits it with a hammer, there's no metal supporting that ball joint. Like, what? What?
It's absolutely ridiculous. Some of the description of those things saying they're using like a wire mesh, more like a fiberglass mesh that goes in there and then they bond it with the thing. Put some steel in it. How much fuel savings are you going to get because that thing isn't strong enough? Like they're making it what, 4 or 5 ounces lighter? How much fuel savings are you going to get from that? Can you measure that? Unbelievable.
I don't know if that's aluminum or if it's metal in there.
Doesn't matter. It shouldn't be either. It shouldn't be plastic and it shouldn't be aluminum.
It's not solid, it's hollow.
It's hollow as well, yeah.
Wow. Wow. What's the matter with this car industry, the truck industry, the vehicle manufacturing industry? Everything's falling apart. It's leaving people stranded on the roads. And now this plastic control arms with metal inside that's hollow. It's hollow metal tubing inside of there. And where the ball joint is, it's pure plastic. There is nothing holding that in there. And that's why when he hits it with a hammer, it just goes snap and goes flying across the room. What next?
Oh, I know. I know. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, they might as well take the Ram name right off of it. The Ram horns on there meant it was a tough truck. It's like Rams butt into things, right? And they're tough. Ram tough. That's not Ram tough. The plastic they're using, they might as well make squeaky toys for dogs out of it, for Christ's sakes. That's stupid.
This is just crazy. I mean, it's not funny, okay? But still, you have to laugh at the whole nonsensical reasoning behind why they would do such a stupid thing and make plastic control arms with honeycomb metal inside of it and then not even reinforce the ball joint with metal. Just pour some plastic around it and let's watch it all break. I don't know where you good people live, but where I live, and it varies from town to town, if you have an electric vehicle or a hybrid vehicle, you have to park your vehicle 1 meter away from the house when charging it. You cannot charge it inside. And it's 3 meters when you're parking it away from the house. That's what they want here. Or your homeowner's insurance won't cover it if you have a fire. And we've seen a lot of these vehicles just sit there on the side of the road and go like this for no reason. And you're really inside of your own personal crematorium when this happens because you're not getting out of that vehicle because everything's electric. You have electric this, no handles, no controls to get out of there. And when the battery dies, oh, on these newer vehicles, now you have a little hatch at the bumper. And if you can't get in your car because the battery's dead, now you have a little window there that you pop open and you can hook a jump pack up to that. And that will now allow your fob to open the door. And now you can get in, pop the hood, and charge the system up by starting the engine. Another problem with these new cars is that some of them, and I believe it was the Mercedes, you can't even open the hood of your vehicle anymore. You have to take it to the dealer to open the hood up now. Now, how ridiculous is that? So, really, you don't even own your own car anymore. You can't work on it. You can't look at it. You can't wash the engine. You have to take that to the dealer, too.
Well, they do allow you on that car that you can put washer fluid in.
Oh, yeah,
That's the
washer
only thing
fluid.
you can service is the washer fluid, and there's a little door on the side that'll allow you to do that. Everything else is locked. If you try and open it up, they're going to charge you with damaging their equipment, even though you paid for it and own it. Unbelievable. I mean, if you wanted to buy a car like that and you can afford to buy a car like that, buy it, take it right to the crusher, display it on your front lawn, just leave it there for show off your neighbors that you can afford a Mercedes, and then buy something practical, like a 1985 square body pickup truck.
That's what a lot of people are doing now. They're buying older vehicles and they're putting the older engines in them that have carburetors, or when they've just gone to the electronic fuel injection, and they're putting in the old style transmissions into them where you just have the computer that does the shifting for you. That's it.
Yeah.
There's a company now that I saw, I believe it was in Australia, that they're making these Jeep type vehicles. They've all gone back to old school. It's roll the windows down, you have the radio, you have the sliders for the vents, no artificial intelligence. It's right back to square one again. Guess what? The United States will not allow those vehicles into their country because they know that that vehicle is going to be on the road for about 30 years before it breaks down.
At least. And even if it does break down, it's rebuildable and it's back on the road again. The government is not interested in what's good for the population of the US. All they're interested in is protecting the billions of dollars in profit that the American companies are making. They don't want anybody to cut into that. The problem with the new vehicles is they're not interested in providing what the consumer wants, because somewhere along the line, they got the idea that if it's got a bigger screen, it must be better. And they're finding out that the distractions on the screen, you wait till they come out in 2027 and see where they're the one that looks to see where your eyeballs are at. I can't imagine putting on a pair of sunglasses because it's a nice sunny day and the computer in the car decides that it can't see your eyeballs to see where you're looking, so it's going to turn the car off.
I was watching a short where this one lady was renting a car in the UK. She was looking down just a little bit, and the computer says, sorry, we can't see your eyes. And the countdown starts. All of a sudden, the engine just dies. It just quits, and she's right in the middle of traffic on the highway, and it won't start until she looks at that camera. She said, what would have happened if I was passing a truck and the AI decides it's shutting that engine down? That's very dangerous.
Yeah, and that's when it's so-called working correctly. What happens when it screws up randomly?
Then you have this Nissan CVT transmission, and back to Nissan again. It's so noisy. You should hear the noise coming out of this transmission. And this transmission is brand new. And this guy took it apart to see what the racket was in there. Well, it's the bearing. The bearings are junk, brand new garbage. Yeah. And you're paying $100,000 for this?
Yeah, well,
Wow.
it's a new acronym. New, never, ever worked.
Never ever worked. Yes.
That's the acronym for new.
Now, seriously, they have to go back to building vehicles the way they used to because this is not working. It's unsustainable. It is completely unsustainable the way that this is going.
The bottom line is they want to make money. They don't care about quality. They think the robots are going to give them the quality. These are the ones that are screwing up. I mean, they're having to bring technicians back to monitor what the AI is doing, right? Crazy. AI don't drive cars, though. People do. That's a big difference, isn't it? Can you imagine the new cars that you have to have a subscription for everything and you're out driving it and your subscription ends right in the middle when you're doing something? But let's say you need a subscription to turn the wheel. I mean, how ridiculous. Like your fob doesn't work. Okay. What happens if your subscription fails and your key fob happens to be in the car and the doors are locked and the key fob doesn't work anymore? Like, because if it's in the car normally and the fob's working, you can go up and open the door handle. You can actually leave it in the car. But when the subscription ends, now you got to get the key and put it in, which is on the fob to open the door.
Yeah, well, there's another problem with that. If you're like us and you live in Canada where it's quite cold in Ontario, well, there is one fella showing what happened to him. And he has this new vehicle. It snowed one night. And now he can't open his door because he can't find the handle. So he goes and all the snow comes off. Then he goes and he's looking at the keypad on the side of the door. Wait a minute, it's covered in ice. Can't, no, not working. So he says, how the heck am I supposed to get into my car now? And then you have the fob. Well, the fob is not going to function because when he tries opening the door is frozen shut.
Mm-hmm.
So this poor guy can't win. They should start thinking about building these vehicles with a handle on there so that you can actually open that door and pry on it.
With actual linkage to the door lock?
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it?
Oh, you couldn't have that today. It's not futuristic.
It's absolutely crazy. Anyway, reality bites. That's what it all comes down to. This is reality. You're going to buy a car, you're going to spend an incredible amount of money. Cars are what? The second largest purchase you'll ever make, other than houses, right? We don't live in a day and age where people just pay cash for their cars anymore. They finance them, right? And the financing just destroys them. On top of that, that's the reality. You can't even buy quality. Doesn't matter how much money you spend. Actually, the more money you spend on a vehicle, the less reliable they are. When you get up into the high end stuff, they're less reliable. You have no idea when you take your vehicle in what it physically needs. They can tell you anything and they're just going to replace parts, or they're not going to replace the parts and told you that they did replace the parts because you can't open the hood. Oh, we had to put new blinker fluid in there, but you can't have a look to see if they did it or not. That's the problem. That's reality, and reality bites.